Good morning and welcome to Inside News. It's our Wednesday show, Jour du Galop. We're going to talk about last week and obviously our two to follow. And then some barrier trials. Remember, it's Barbé week, double meeting this weekend. Atmosphere is really boiling up beautifully for this Barbé Cup. It's going to be a brilliant race. I think one of the sort of most competitive Barbies I've seen for quite a while, and it really looks like it's going to be a terrific race come Sunday. If you are near the racecourse, or even if you're not, jump on a bus or a taxi or drive down to the racecourse. I think the Barbé Cup day is going to be a very, very exciting day. Right, let's talk about Saturday. Obviously, we're going to touch on Black Cat back. I thought it was a very good win from him. I thought Shaheel Ayadassen handled him beautifully. Obviously, my question mark was the 1500, especially with that false rail out 4.5 meters. But the way he won, I have no doubt in my mind that he's going to win a 1600. Well, he'll be able to get a 1600. And obviously, Shaheel, that was a terrific win. The big question is, will he run on Sunday in the Barbé Cup?
I mean, we'll leave that up to Mr. Shungajada, but like you said, expected win. I was pretty confident about his chances, and my only slight doubt was about if Shaheel Ayadassen can keep a tight hold of him, because he's a horse that does quite pull a bit, but Shaheel gave him a great ride, I believe. He judged the base to perfection, and like you said, we had a slight doubt of the distance. He stayed it, and there was also 450 or false rails Saturday. He did that very well. He's a big horse. I think he weighs around 540, and he's got a lovely stride. He's an amazing horse.
Yeah, he is. And
well, made for the Chamonix track.
Yeah, and well done to the stable, because he was pretty well backed as well.
Yes.
They backed Black Cat back. And yeah, money was on the button. Well done to them. He does look like he's a nice horse. Obviously, he was supposed to run the Duchess. There were a little bit of issues there. But he looks like also it's got a very bright future in Mauritius.
Yeah, that's right. Interesting to see if they run him again this Saturday in the Barbé.
Sunday.
Yeah.
All right. I want to touch on the Patrick Mervyn stable and Imran Chisti as well. Patrick Mervyn having that hat-trick. I think it was his birthday on Monday, if I'm not mistaken. So there was a nice birthday present for Patrick Mervyn, winning the first 3 races. And Imran Chisti as well. I thought he gave Royal Resolution a great ride when he pinched a run on them, yeah, and caught them sort of napping a little bit. Typical Imran Chisti ride. Well done to them. That was very, very nice as well. And then Manuel Nunes carries on impressing us. Bad attitude. And, well, he got Mambo to win. And that in itself is a feat, getting Mambo to win. I don't know how many times we followed Mambo.
Yeah, when I said I was giving him our first choice, he said, you've given up on him.
Yeah, I gave up on him, Mambo. But anyway, well done to Manuel, riding nicely. And then it was a busy day in the Stipes room as well, Saturday. Quite a list of suspensions. Brandon Louis, he got a suspension in the first and the last. Carlos Gomez suspended on Superstitious. Dennis Soufel suspended on the Thinker. Stradom had a horrible day. Obviously, he got his week suspension for interference, and then he got it on yesterday morning. He got a 50,000 rupee and another week for improper conduct or misconduct. And then Imran Chisti as well. He got for that ride on Royal Resolution. He's also got a week. So obviously, with a couple of group races coming up, we don't know exactly when they're going to be off. But I know Pierre Stradom definitely won't be riding Saturday, but he'll be riding on Sunday. All right. Well, like I said, it was quite a busy race day. It was nice to see Black Cat win and Black Cat back, I beg your pardon. And then obviously all the suspensions. It was quite an exciting day. Talk about excitement. Bye-bye Rocket. It was one of, I mean, we both fancied him, but I did think that the greenness was going to be an issue. He is my horse to follow, I beg your pardon. And well, he was very green on his first outing. He sort of never got the best of jumps. And right from the start, he was hanging out with Manuel Nunes. Gave him a hard time, especially when he sort of got there with no cover, hanging out the whole way around the turn, giving him quite a tough time. And still came the straight. Looked like he was going to go on and win the race. But obviously, at the end of the day, the more experienced Dollar Tractor got the better of him, very close to the line. I thought it was a terrific run from this young horse. And just like Captain Gone Wild, green first start, probably come out and win his next start. I don't think he's going to have an issue with that second run syndrome. He just, only greenness beat him in my opinion. And I do believe that Bye Bye Rocket has got a bright future here in Mauritius. Remember that he has 2 terrific runs in South Africa, and it really looks like he's going to go on and win a couple of races this horse. I believe he'll even go 1365. He did win a 1200 back in South Africa, but I really think that this horse will go 1365, even 1400. Bye Bye Rocket. Obviously, once he learns how to race correctly, he's a colt, isn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, it's just like Captain Gone Wild. He's a colt. Probably will have to be gelded in the future. Maybe they'll finish the season with him and then geld him. But he really looks like a nice buy from the stable. Right, you wanted to talk about Spring Man from the Ricky Mangard stable. That was your horse to follow for the future?
Yeah, obviously. I mean, that was a great run for him. 1500 obviously was probably a little bit too short for him. He was traveling on the outside of bad attitude throughout the race, and then at the 500-meter mark, when Malak El Moulouk came on his outside, he probably got caught into a sandwich. Coming into the home stretch, Pavé Shaheel had to look for some racing room, which he couldn't get easily. He took some time to get going, but once the penny dropped, this horse absolutely flew home, which is normal because he's won twice over 2,000 meters back in South Africa, so he's definitely looking for distance. And we were speaking about that. He's got some cracking South African form. He's running against the like of Rainbow Bridge and Double Mint in those high-class races of the Winter Classic and the Derby. Definitely Springman, one to follow over 1850 or further.
Yeah, I mean, that was Rainbow Bridge. He won the Sunmet. He's one of the fancied horses, if not the favourite, to win the July next week, which is quite nice to see a bit of Mauritian interest there with Twist of Fate. Unfortunately, he got a terrible draw, 17. Naresh Jagdar will be making the trip to go ride him in the July. That looks like it's going to be just like the Barbie. It's probably one of the most open, competitive Julys I've seen in a very long time.
Yeah, but the public says that Hawam is probably a banker.
Yeah, well, it's never easy for those 3-year-olds in those condition races. All right, let's talk about the Barrett trials. There's 4 of them we want to talk about. I'm going to kick off with the first one. A couple of older horses with blinkers. Unbelievable Lad, Step to Fame, Turbulent Air, Enard. Let's talk about Unbelievable Lad. He's had 2 decent runs here in Mauritius. Amasa Doyle has decided to, well, he's elected to put the blinkers on, and the way he galloped, judging by the way he galloped, I think the blinkers just might do the trick. He jumped well, he showed a lot of speed, and although he's never tried with blinkers in South Africa, he did have some terrific form. He's obviously a way above average resource, Unbelievable Lad, and the fact that they've slapped those blinkers on him, he's definitely going to be worthwhile following. Step to Fame. It's not often that you see a 7-year-old trying blinkers for the first time. We haven't seen him since last year's International Day. And don't forget, all of his wins were, well, all 5 of his wins have been over 1,000 meters. So maybe another horse with blinkers could sort of help him out a little bit. Step to Fame. He's not getting any younger. Turbulent Air, have to say, probably one of the most disappointing horses. He arrived from South Africa with some decent form, and well, he's dropped from a 64 to a 50 now. And I suppose maybe with the blinkers combined with the fact that he's dropped 14 points in the rating, maybe Turbulent Air could pick up a win. And then Enard, nice to see the champion stretching his legs. Obviously the 1,000 meters is a lot too short for him, but so I think there's 2 months to go to the Maiden Cup, if I'm not mistaken. And obviously he sort of his campaign to be the first horse, I believe, to win the Maiden Cup 3 in a row is on path. And well, obviously, I mean, it's obviously he was going to sort of finish behind these horses. He's a 2,400 meter horse, and he wasn't sort of given too much pressure. But his campaign has started. I'd love to see a horse win 3 Group 1s in a row, the same Group 1 in a row, and it'll be nice to see if Enard could ever pull that off. But I'm going to follow Enard's sort of progress towards the Maiden Cup, and let's see how he can go. But nice gallop, especially from, well, Barrier Trial, especially from Unbelievable Lad with those blinkers. Definitely worthwhile following. Right, the second Barrier Trial, Shaheel, you're going to take us through that because we got one of our Barbé Cup runners there.
That's right, and a really interesting trial with 4 horses. Table Bay with a yellow jacket, In the Loop with a green jacket, Perfect Pursuit with a blue one, and Captain of the Sea with a red jacket. So Table Bay here, he trialed really nicely actually. He jumped well and he followed nicely into 2nd position before stretching on nicely under the hands. And just to be noted, he was ridden by Bruno Rice, and from what we understand, Olivier Placé is not going to be riding this meeting. He's going to probably be out for 2-3 weeks. So it will be interesting to see who gets to ride Table Bay in the Barbé. He looks ready for the Barbé on Sunday. He was quite unlucky most of the time at the draws during his last races. Hopefully he cracks a good draw this time. He'll definitely be one of the main contenders for the win come Sunday. In the Loop, like we said last week, he had to repass because he was quite disappointing trial last week. Again, he was a bit slow to begin, but slightly better than last week, and he did very well to finish off this week. He finished on the same line as Table Bay, a very encouraging trial for In the Loop. Perfect Pursuit, he jumped off nicely and went straight to the front. He showed some very decent pace. He's a 3-year-old, rated 13.9. He has run 3 times in South Africa for the 1 win, over a mile in 2 places. He's a promising little horse for his stable because he's the 3rd highest rated horse in the private Ravi Nagadu stable, and captain of the sea, a newcomer from the Rameshwar Gadadhar stable. He wasn't asked to do much in this trial. He's a 3-year-old rated 45. He's had 13 starts back in South Africa for 2 wins. He's run some good races. The 2.5 million rand race, the CTS Ready to Run race, again the good horse Cirillo from the Sean Terry yard.
Okay, well, it's a nice gallop at Table Bay there, and obviously I think he is the title holder.
Yes.
And he's going for his excellent. I thought he's had some nice races this year. I reckon he's peaked. Like you said, let's hope he pulls a nice draw, because Table Bay, he's a classy horse. You can never write off the chances of Table Bay. Interesting to know. Do you think Bruno Rees, he galloped in? Has the stable? Will the stable have a runner? Their stable?
No, I don't think the Narang has a runner, but there's a lot of speculation going on with Jano Bardute also up for the ride, so it will be interesting to see who rides Table Bay.
Yeah. Okay. That's the second Barrett trial. Let's move over to the third Barrett trial, and a couple of new horses. Yeah, a nice horse, Wendell. Sorry, not ridden by Amos Doyle. The poor horse wouldn't battle to do that, but trained by Sir Doyle. Yellow jacket. He's a new horse. I see he's nominated in a 990. This horse showed amazing speed with that barrier trial. He was barrier trialed with blinkers, and he won and placed in South Africa, and should be well suited to the 990s. Only rated 29. And like I said, he showed some brilliant speed with those blinkers. Maybe a little horse that's worthwhile following first time out. He does remind me a little bit about of Good Buddy, this horse. And another horse that I won on many years ago, Ashanti Gold. He looks very similar to him. Star of Zeus, Jean-Michel stable. He's an Australian-born horse, and he never won in South Africa, but he only raced 5 times. I think he was placed twice. And Australian horses do take a little bit longer to mature. He's only rated 26. And I think that the stable could have a little bit of fun with his horse. He looks quite nice. I like his action as well. Duke's Domain, well, he's got the red jacket. Another young, lightly raced horse, except that he has won 1 race in only his 5 starts. He looks like he's going to enjoy the trip over a little bit further. He won over 1,600 meters in South Africa. But this is the difference when a horse wins a race in South Africa, because even though he's only had the 5 runs, he's rated 36 compared to Star of Zeus, who came close to winning, and he's rated 26. So that's 10 points difference. That's about 2 wins in Mauritius. Swinging Captain, well, it's nice to see that this horse is finally, I wouldn't say finally dropped, but he did pretty well in 2017. Rating went up in 2018. Couldn't win a race. He has dropped 3 points over the off-season. He's back and now eligible to run in a rating of 31. I think that Swinging Captain can definitely win in that rating. Remember, he did run some good races in the 36. Didn't manage to win. I think back in the 31, Swinging Captain. It's a horse that I've always sort of liked, but I think he'll probably be a little bit better this year, Swinging Captain. Right, the 4th and final barrier trial. Shaheel, you watched that with interest.
Yeah, a real interesting trial with 3 3-year-olds. All of them were very competitive. Carlton Heights, a newcomer from the Amal Studio stable with a yellow jacket. Northern Spy with a blue jacket from Alain Perrault, and Got to Fly, the filly, with a green jacket. Carlton Heights, he's a 3-year-old who's had 9 career starts in South Africa for the 2 places. He's a versatile distance-wise because he's raced from 1,200 meters up to 2.4. Although his 2 best efforts have come over the mile, he trialed really nicely as he's shown some good gate speed, and even in the trial he was really pacey. He did well to fight off his 2 opponents. And then Northern Spy, he's a 3-year-old by the 2012 July winner Pomodoro, who was ridden by Pierre Stridham in 2012. He's had only 8 free career starts for the 2 places. He has run against Vardy though, and Vardy's quite a decent horse because he's now a 4-time winner, and he's just won the Group 3 Winter Classic recently. He was pretty green during his trial, which is normal as he's quite inexperienced with only the 3 starts in South Africa, but he did quicken up really well when Kirsty Ramsamy asked him for an effort. He's a promising little horse, this Northern Spy. And then obviously the filly Got to Fly. She jumped much better this morning compared to what she did in her races. Obviously, it's tough for her being a filly here in Mauritius. We have no experience. We'll probably need some more time to acclimatize here.
Okay. All right. Well, that was the 4th barrier trial and the final barrier trial. We're going to talk about, obviously, the Barbé Cup this week. There was a grass gallop, which we'll talk about, and then we have sort of picked out 1 or 2 horses that we think will be running in the Barbé. Obviously, we don't know exactly what the final field is going to be. We've got an idea. I would imagine everyone in Mauritius has got an idea. Still, the interesting is going to be the jockeys. You know, like from what I understand, Rameshwar Gadjara will have 3 runners.
Even Gadjara probably will have 3.
Yeah, and it's going to all be interesting to see maybe the jockeys will wait for the draws. Whether the jockeys have got the choice, that's another issue. But let's talk about White River and Independence. They galloped, and he was ridden by Manuel Nunes. So that sort of maybe suggests if White River runs, he will be ridden by Manuel Nunes. He has ridden, he's won on him. Like I said, he hopped on him. It was a good display, White River. I have to say, he was striding out beautifully. Whatever sort of issues he had before that first leg of the 4-year-old championship is obviously behind him. It's in the past because he really galloped beautifully this horse. He was really stretching out nicely. And I think sort of when I did my homework yesterday, I wasn't sort of confirmed if he was running, but from what I understand, he is running. If he is running, I would imagine Manuel Nunes is going to ride him. Unless Pierce Strotholm has got a choice at draws, he might jump on him. But we'll see what happens. But what I'm trying to get at, great gallop. It looks like he's over that little issue that he had, and I think he's a big runner in the Barbé Cup. Right, that was the only sort of gallop that we wanted to talk about because our Emperor gallop, but I don't think he's not nominated, so we wouldn't show that.
We'll run the Winter Stakes next week.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about our sandwork. We've got 10 horses we want to get through quickly. We are taking a little bit of time this morning. Let's talk about one of my favorite horses, Perplexing. He galloped with the great, he worked with the great one. Yashin worked him. Excellent work by one of my favorite horses. We all saw what happened to him last time. He was incredibly unlucky. All things went wrong with him, and it'll be nice to see him back. And finally, I get my wish to see him going over 1850. I was quite surprised when I looked in the form and noticed that he hasn't gone over the 18. I think it's going to suit him down to the ground. He's a top racehorse. You can't write him off. And that was excellent work alongside the great one, which is no slouch either. So Perplexing, he is nominated. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's Saturday, not Sunday. I could be wrong. A lot of work to get through. But Perplexing, big runner on Saturday. Okay, and you want to speak about Barrack Street, another one of my favorite horses, Barrack Street. He's not nominated, but he worked yesterday.
Yeah, that's right. He's 2 from 2 and very impressive in both his starts. Big jumping class last time out from a benchmark of 41 up to 61, and he still won by over a length. Obviously, he had some great South African form as a 2-year-old before he came here and lost his will a little bit as a 3-year-old. Very happy that he's found that 2-year-old form back in Mauritius. He won't be stopping so soon. This horse he's been showing some great work in the morning. Obviously, like you said, he's not entered this week because I think he's a typical sprinter, and the Rameshwar Gajada stable will probably wait for a 990 to run him again.
Yeah. All right, yeah, that's Barrack Street. Isn't that Lightning Cup coming up soon? I don't know if he's qualified for that sort of race, but that's going to be a nice, interesting sprint later on. I think it's in about 2 or 3 weeks' time, if I'm not sure, the Lightning Cup. All right, let's talk about a horse that won convincingly last time from the Main God Sabre. That's Palace, and well, he's still holding his form after that very good win, and looks like he's found his feet now, this horse, Palace. So obviously, he had those 2 runs behind White River. Last time, he absolutely smashed Chili Con Carne. He did pick up a 5-point penalty for that win, so he will be carrying top weight on Saturday in the feature race. It is a benchmark 61. I honestly believe he won't have any sort of problem carrying that top weight in that sort of class. He showed us last time that he's obviously a very good horse. He's still in very good form. And Palace, Saturday's feature race, probably will be my first choice.
Actually, I did mention him last week, and remember you were telling me that Daryl Holland opted to take his suspension last week, obviously probably to ride him on Saturday. Yeah. So definitely Palace want to follow this Saturday.
Yeah. Okay, great. Simon Joe, Arctic Flyer.
Yeah, hopefully Arctic Flyer can give Simon his first win of the season. He's absolutely flying under Brandon Lee yesterday morning during his gallop. His Rosling was a promising one because he finished second to Hasteen. Hasteen, a very good horse. That was in a benchmark of 51, and he's rated only 38 now, so he's entered in the benchmark of 41 this week on 1400 on Sunday, excuse me. If he's drawn well and he can get to the front, I do believe Arctic Flyer could be one of the horses that gives Simon Jones his first winner for 2019. Yeah,
Simon's horses are slowly coming to hand. They're starting to run in the money. They're starting to look better. Let's hope that Simon has a good second half to the season. A bigger gentleman you probably wouldn't find, and we're really behind Simon Jones to crack that first winner. Right, we spoke about Barrack Street. The horse that ran second team last time is Maximo. And well, there was 2 very good runs this year, like I said, especially that run behind Barrack Street. That was in a benchmark 61. Yes, he did have 52 kilos, but it was still a very good run. On Saturday, he drops back to the rating of 46 over his favorite distance of 990. and you have to think that it's going to be a lot easier race for him, Maxim Moore. Showed lots of guts and determination, only to be beaten by a better horse last time. He's starting out well. I've always had a little soft spot for this horse, Maxim Moore. Robbie Frad always rated him as well. And, well, remember last year he beat that horse Dollar Tractor. Dollar Tractor has come out and won this season already. Well, he won last week. So his form line's pretty good. The Barrack Street, the Dollar Tractor, he's working well. I think he's a big runner this week as well, Maxim Moore. So let's keep an eye on him. Right. Shaheel, you want to talk about Rap Attack?
That's right. He's run 3 times this season for three second places. He always bumping into one better horses, you know. He got beaten by Aishiba, by Opera Royale. He's worked really well under Carlos Herrera Gomez on his own yesterday. He's entered in the same race as Perplexing this week, and that's going to be a really tough race because you get the Rap Attack in there, you've got Perplexing and also Al-Shiba. So that's going to be a cracking race come this weekend.
Okay, all right, that's Rap Attack. I suppose obviously with these horses winning, the handicap's getting better for him. So yeah, maybe Rap Attack could pull it off this weekend. Let's keep it that, like Charles said, it's going to be quite an interesting race, that race. Right, I want to talk about Roman Dancer from the Gajada stable. He's got that second run out of the way now. Could have been that dreaded second run syndrome after a terrific run in the 990. Stepped up to the 14. Wasn't a bad effort behind Good Buddy. In fact, it wasn't a bad run at all. He is entered in 2 events over the weekend. It's 990 on Saturday and 1400 meter on Sunday. In my opinion, the 990 will suit him better. Just going back to his South African form, I think he won over 1,000 meters. He did win at 1,200, but it was a terrific debut over the 990. And listen, he ran a very good second to AP Strike. I'm not the trainer, but in my opinion, I just think that Roman Dancer will probably be better suited to the 990. So let's see how he goes. Even in the 1,400, I think he's probably going to be a horse to consider for this week in the double header. Right, captain, my captain.
Yeah, 2 runs this season for 2 third places. He hasn't been seen for almost 2 months now, but that doesn't mean that he's been sleeping in the stable because he's been putting up some decent work during the last few weeks. Even yesterday he had 3 laps of 11s, which is pretty good and shows his well-being at the moment. He's entered over 992 in a benchmark of 36 on Sunday.
Okay, well, that's captain, my captain. He did work pretty good, the son of Captain Al. Right, my final horse of the morning is going to be Kudu 2. I don't think a training session would be complete unless until we speak also of Vincent Allett. The stable just carries on going. Their fairy tale season just continues. Derek David and Vincent Allett horses are really running well. Kudu 2, already 2 wins in the bag this season. He's still maintaining his good form. Another horse that probably sort of dropped down in the ratings last year, now sort of coming back to where his peak is. And well, he's proven now he's matured now. And obviously he won a 1400 last time, and you know, I suppose they did run him a lot over the sprint. They thought, well, they probably thought his best form was over the sprint, but he won a 1400, and he won a good 1400. He really fought off that horse Vast side quite bravely. So Kudu 2, another horse, I think he is nominated this week. Yes, he is. He's nominated in a 41 over 1400 again on Sunday, and what I've seen, he possibly could pick up his 3rd win of the season. The Vincent Allett sort of circus just continues, and long may it last for him and Derek David. Right, the last horse you wanted to talk about was Hard Day's Night.
That's right, he has really picked up well during training these last few weeks, Hard Day's Night. He looks to be back to best horse of the year of last year. A good cross gallop last week, and he maintained that yesterday morning with Yashin MMD on board, and he was on point and left an excellent impression. PS Stridham, like we said, will probably have a tough choice to make with White River and also Nebula, which he rode at Trackwork yesterday. I don't know if you'll agree with me, but probably Lameshwar Gadada stable is going to be the favorite to win the Barbé. Depends on which one with these 3 now. Yeah.
Well, I'm not riding off Table Bay. I really like the way that his races have come on, his work. So yeah, it probably could be in the Gajara family. Just
even the star in the making, Cool at Heart, we can't ignore him. Let's see
exactly,
how good he is.
Yeah, well, this is what I've written down, Shaheel. I said it's a very, very interesting Barbé Cup. Yeah. One horse we never mentioned was, well, not mentioned, but spoke about was Nebula. Yes. I wasn't 100% convinced with his gallop last week, Tuesday, but I went and watched his work yesterday. That was a terrific sprint up under Pierre Stradum. Still interesting to sort of note, well, not note, but to sort of figure out which jockeys are going to ride which horses. We don't know if Pierre Stradum's got the choice, if the stable's going to put him on. Maybe happy because Manuel Nunes has won on White River, but at the end of the day, Pierre Stradham's a jockey. So still a lot to happen before Friday, Thursday, before that card comes out. So it's going to be quite an interesting weekend's racing. The Barbé Cup's going to be brilliant, and I'm really looking forward to this weekend's racing. It's going to be a lot of work for us because we've got this double header.
Yeah, I won't be.
You got exams, right?
Yeah.
So unfortunately we won't see Shaheel on Friday.
Oh, yeah, Raksha?
Yeah, Raksha will probably be with us, and we'll go through the double header, myself and Raksha. Hopefully find you a couple of winners. Thanks very much for joining us. Catch you up on Friday. Goodbye.